Join me. Together we can rule the galaxy far from sun.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Bonus episode of Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. All right, we are literally 3 days away from the book. No, not the Book of Boba Fett. Jeez, The Mandalorian Season 3. It's happening. It's happening Wednesday. I can't believe it. So, we watched the Book of Boba Fett, and we started with Episode 5, or Chapter 5, which is the Return of the Mandalorian. So, again, I think my biggest complaint of the Book of Boba Fett is that these last 3 episodes are all about the Mandalorian, not about Boba. Little Boba in Chapter 7, but that's beside the point. But anyways, these are really good. They're really good episodes. It's just they're not about the Book of Boba Fett. We're not about Boba Fett. So, Return of the Mandalorian, we get to see him again. Don't know the planets' names, but it's almost like a ring planet, kind of like Halo and all that fun stuff. And yeah, we see him hunting Coludian, they're like kind of the dog-like people, and we've seen them before. They were the raiders in Mandalorian when the fishing town where they raided the kind of the fishing town there with the cool droids and the shrimp guys. Those guys. But anyways, we see him yielding the dark saber, and yeah, he's not as skilled as he should be, and he cuts himself. He drops the head off to Initiative, and Initiative wants him to stay and party, and he's like, put that head on ice, I'm out. So he's looking for I don't know what the official word he used, but basically a little, alcove or whatever, and she finds Paz Vizsla. He finds Paz Vizsla, and the armor goes through this amazing thing about the Night of the Thousand Tears. We get to see thousands of TIE bombers and KX security droids and probe droids. Basically our T2 moment. It's so cool. And then we get a little fight with Paz and Mando, and Mando bests him, and he walks out, but she's like, you took off your helmet and you're dead to me. So now he's kind of home forsaken, if you will, and but before all that happened, he got a little present from her. They melted down the spear because the spear is Beskar and can be used as a weapon, and we want Beskar to use as a protection. So he melted it down and gave Baby Grogu a little present. And so we got that going on, and then yeah, so we find out it's a little chainmail suit, okay, and so that's great. It's in a little, but we won't find out that till Chapter 6, kind of, but it's in a little bag, and the little bag looks like a little Baby Yoda. We get to a cool little security checkpoint where he's going to get off-world because he doesn't have a ship. We get the Disney droid, the Rex droid, the original Rex droid, tell him to dump his stuff, and it's like classic, like, here's all my weapons, and yeah, and he's like, you better not lose them, counting everyone. Then we get like a little Rhodanian kid that waves at Mando. It's so cute, and I think again, like, Trent's like, why didn't he wave back? And I just like, that's a good question, because he's pulling off this persona of like he is still a bounty hunter, but like in deep down he's becoming a softie. He's becoming a space dad, total space dad. So I thought that was interesting. Like, he didn't wave back. He just kind of, blank helmet stare, not much going on there, not even a tilted head or anything like that. But he immediately looks down to the little knapsack that looks like Baby Yoda with the ears. I thought it was ingenious of that. Just a simple design, but the shape reminds him of our boy, Baby Grogu. So he gets back to Tatooine, and then we have this whole kind of like garage build scene. There's a lot going on here. Yeah, it's just So good. So we see our favorite little mechanic from Tatooine, and we basically have this build montage. We see this again with Krill and Mando in season 1 when the Razor Crest was like decimated by the Jawas. Now we got an N1 Naboo starfighter. Oh, I love the scene. And like you can see also Mando progresses into liking droids. Peli's like, hey, we can do this together. We get to see a Womp Rat. We get to see a Gonk droid. We get to see R5. We get to see a Cal Kestis BD unit. I know I was super excited when this first came out, but BD, and there's another thing that I picked up. She mentions this scurrier nest on the N1 starfighter, and then throughout the rest of the show, BD is like tracking down these scurriers, and you can see him pop up a while. I never noticed that. Second time through, I watched this, and BD's having fun, kind of like chasing the scurriers, and they're kind of everywhere. And at one point, there is a main shot where one of the scurriers kind of comes out of the main, like one of the controls, but. I don't know. First watch, I did not see that. That's something that I noticed this time around, and sure, and I had a good laugh because we could see him pop up every once in a while. BD's like very curious of that. So, anyways, we get this huge montage. We get to see some cool, stout little Jawas. We get to see the little nod to. Again, I forget what it is, but basically in A New Hope, when Han and Leia are trapped in the trash compactor with Luke and Chewie, they hold up this thing, and that thing is in Mando's ship. It's one of these long pipe things, some exhaust manifold thingy-bobber. And then we get all that, we get the build done, he takes it for a spin, and this thing is fast. It's got everything that Peli was saying it would. And it's fast. It's super fast. And he comes back down and he says, "Wizard." Yeah. This is the icing on the cake for me. I mean, it's just great. We get to see a little dragon from, I think that's one of the Super Nintendo games. There's a dragon before he takes off. We also get to see our friend from the Republic. He's the new, kind of new sheriff in town. They have to, Mando gets pulled over basically because he's going too fast. Great little bit there. And he goes so fast in the sublights that they're like, oh my gosh, did he hyperdrive? And he's like, nope, that was the sublights. And it's like, yeah, this thing is fast. And he comes down and it's like, yep, everything I wanted. And then this is the only Boba Fett part is like, hey, Fennec shows up and says, hey, I need your help. Okay, so there we go. That happens. This whole thing, and this is directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. She is just a national treasure. She understands Star Wars. Everything about this episode has heart, has, it's just good. It's just good. And one of the complaints about Book of Boba was like it felt very small, and this episode definitely felt big. It felt big. Even though we return back to Tatooine, we just see a little bit more bigger scale, a little more Star Wars, and that's what I love about this episode. It's just big in scale. So there you have it. Bonus episode, new one. Like I said, we did this going into Mando season 2, or no, we're going into the Book of Boba. We did Mando season 2. It was fun kind of revisiting them. So we're doing the last 3 here because it is kind of like a 2.5 episode. So stay tuned tomorrow for our next bonus episode. Until then, may the Force be with you. And as we always say, truly wonderful the mind of a child is. Peace. Bye.